Hi again. Even when most of the world comes to a halt, there's one thing that continues. That is church committees. The General Trustees met yesterday, and no doubt in the coming weeks we'll have more to report from that meeting. The Assembly Arrangements Committee also met, and it was decided that we would continue to constitute the General Assembly in May, but that we'd only meet on the Monday evening using Zoom for only the essential kind of business, and then the Assembly will be suspended until October, and hopefully we'll be able to meet for a bit longer then, but there are no guarantees. It was also decided that we would suspend installing Neil McMillan as the moderator until May 2021, so that we could get full use out of him during his moderatorial year. If you had seen me this time yesterday, you would be wondering what on earth I was up to. I was asked to record a service to be broadcasted on Radio Scotland, and because the team could not come to me to record the service professionally, I was asked to sit on my bed, surround myself with pillows, to put a duvet over my head, and to record into my phone using a fixed mic. It looked and felt ridiculous. It was claustrophobic and uncomfortable, but it worked. Lockdown, in the same way, sometimes feels a bit ridiculous. It feels uncomfortable and claustrophobic, but it works, and it is working, and that's why we have to persevere with it. I think I've detected a change in mood over this past week, and forgive me if I have misread it, but it seems to me that to begin with, that perhaps we had this kind of mindset of, yep, we've got to do this, whereas now as we begun to realise that this is really for the long term, as the First Minister tells us that there is no switch that we can flick that's going to end lockdown, as the Chief Medical Officer for England says that social distancing measures will be in place at least until the end of the year, and probably longer. I think that it has made us feel a bit heavier, where we're saying, oh no, I'm not sure we can do this. That's why I've taken you here up to what is the Millennium Stone that looks out over the village of Dunvegan. This was erected obviously in the year 2000 to mark that special year, that special event. But Dunvegan itself acts like a kind of Millennium Stone to me, because it marks something important, something special. Because this is the place I came to when I was 6 years old, and I lived with my grandparents, whose house, if you eagle-eyed, you could see behind us here. I came with my father and my sister after what was the most devastating event in our lives, the loss of my mother. But it was from that point that I began to discover something of the faithfulness and the goodness and the wisdom of God. I can remember being in my grandparents' house, and late at night my grandfather would hold worship, normally held in Gaelic, and I would go to the church here, and I would hear some of the old men especially praying, and started hearing terms that were unfamiliar to me. I would hear about the balm of Gilead. I would hear about the mountains of our provocations, and I would hear about raising an Ebenezer. For those of you that are maybe familiar with some of the Bible stories, you'll know that it comes from an occasion in the Old Testament when Israel are under threat and have been attacked by the Philistines, and they call out to God for deliverance, and God hears and answers their prayers. And the prophet Samuel, to mark that event, what he does is he raises a stone akin to the stone beside me here, and he calls it Ebenezer, which means God's help. And he says, we raise this stone because hitherto the Lord has helped us. Even as I stand here and look over Dunvegan, I feel myself almost getting quite emotional, because as I reflect on my life, and as I think about all the things I would not have wanted or have chosen, I still see hitherto the Lord has helped me. I know that if you reflect on your lives, that many of you will think of situations and circumstances that are much harder than anything I could even begin to imagine. But I suspect that as you reflect on these times and these moments, that you too can say, hitherto the Lord has helped me, that He has been there, He has been faithful, He has been true. Jeremiah, when he wrote the book of Lamentations, he recalls the hard and difficult times that he encountered in his life. And as he is recalling them, he says that his soul is feeling a bit downcast, a bit heavy, maybe like what we're feeling. But then he says, yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. It's because of the Lord's great love that we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They're new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for Him. The Lord is good to those whose hope is in Him, to the one who seeks Him. It's good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. As we look ahead and we wonder how we can manage as we go forward, it's important for us to look behind and to recognize that the Lord has been faithful, and in our minds to raise an Ebenezer, to say, hitherto the Lord has helped us, and He will continue to help us. He'll continue to be faithful, He'll continue to be true. So whatever you're concerned about, don't worry, it is okay. Hitherto the Lord has helped us, and from this point on He will continue to do so. Take care, God bless, and we'll speak again soon.